It's not quite under the radar anymore. Central Payments, which has an office in downtown Sioux Falls, is now the nation's fastest growing prepaid card issuer. So we wanted to learn more about its leader, Trent Sorbe, and the growing business opportunity that just attracted a $30 million capital raise. So we're sitting here with this great view of downtown Sioux Falls behind us, and yet I noticed that we are actually sitting in what you call the Jackrabbit room.
That's right. So we thought, what was the easiest way to get two rooms to be used equally? So we have a Jackrabbit room and a Coyote room, and so it's really easy that both get used equally.
But you're not a Jackrabbit.
No, I am not. I live in Brookings. All my kids went to USD, so I sort of straddle that fence.
Your company reminds me a little bit of a Jackrabbit, though. It's fast.
Yeah,
it's growing
very
fast.
fast.
Very, very fast. You actually grew up, though, in what I believe is a very small town.
I did. Newell, Iowa. So, I don't know, 3 hours from here. So, Northwest Iowa.
So,
Class of 26.
Class of 26. I can't imagine you graduated high school thinking you're going to run a fintech company. What did you want to do?
No, it's funny. I thought I was going to go into college, and I thought, I was probably going to be a teacher and a coach and coach sports in a high school somewhere in Iowa probably, and got into college, started to kind of experience new things like you always do in college, and decided, maybe I'll do something different. So I thought maybe law school or something like that. And right out of college, I interviewed with the FDIC, the government agency in charge of insuring deposits for banks. And I thought, this sounds interesting. At that time, I didn't know when you gave money to the teller at the bank, I didn't know where it went after that. So I didn't know anything about banking at that time. But I just kind of caught on with me, and I just decided I'm going to make a career out of this banking thing.
Not all bankers, actually very few bankers, I would say, are entrepreneurs.
It is not a word that we use very often.
Did you always have a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah, no, I think I did. Starting out, people don't believe me, like I started out working for the government because it doesn't feel very entrepreneurial to start your career at the government. But for me, that experience was a great foundation to sort of learn everything about the banking industry that you could.
From there, he was drawn to consumer payments, specifically the technology behind them. It led him to roles at First Bank and Trust and then Meta Payment Systems.
If you follow my career, consumer payments have really changed in that time. So it was just an opportunity to kind of do something new and different and innovative, and I was always drawn to it.
Central Payments is not his first business venture. Sorbe and several co-founders started a business called Tandem Money in Sioux Falls in 2010 that didn't take off.
I don't call it a failure because I don't really think it is, but I think it was a great learning experience. So when you're going to try number two, what are the things you learn from number one? And that's been really valuable here.
What did you take away from that?
I think tenacity, right? I think when I came and started Central Payments with Central Bank of Kansas City, it's just a matter of you just don't give up. It takes a level of tenacity and commitment and drive, and you just keep trudging forward. And I think that was probably the most important experience.
So what made you decide it was time to give entrepreneurship another go?
Yeah, I think it was really, you reach that point where you're like, okay, I feel like I've had the reset. I feel like, I've got myself back into a spot. It works for your family. I think people don't understand how hard entrepreneurship is on your family. And so I think my family was at a spot where okay, let's give this a try. And I give Central Bank a ton of credit for reaching out to me and saying, hey, we're thinking about this. And I said, well, I'm kind of thinking about this. And off we go.
And it just happened to be the right fit at the right time.
I turned them down the first time. It's an interesting story. They reached out to me in 2012. And I said, I don't think so. It isn't a right fit. And then fortunate for me, they reached out about a year and a half later and said, would you give it another thought?
So what was the vision for Central Payments when you started?
The vision, which was much smaller than what it is today. I think our thought process was the work we do around here is attractive to other banks because they're very low cost deposits. As you know, deposits fuel banks. And the lower cost deposits are attractive to banks because your inventory is lower cost. Deposits are your inventory. And so banks are always interested in low cost deposits. And I think at that time, Central Bank was like, look, this is a great source of low cost deposits. We have this small little, technically a branchless branch up in South Dakota. Keep it simple. We might have 10 people and this will be really easy. And I think we just realized very early on that there is just so much more opportunity in the way the market was going and the way financial technology was happening, and we were missing out. And so we just said, that's the easy part. Let's do something bigger. And I give the ownership group down at Central Bank a ton of credit for supporting that, and then realizing that, yeah, boy, there's opportunity here that we're missing, and why don't we let Central Payments go try some new things?
Which you did.
We did.
Many new things. And you are really an inventor in a lot of ways, which is hard for me to get my head around, to be honest with you, inventing things in the payments space.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's really about finding ways in which, I think if you had to boil it down, it's really finding ways money can move faster and easier, and to be a better user experience for the consumer. And so all the stuff I've done around technology is really centered on how can I make money move faster for consumers? How can I reach more consumers? How can I make the consumer experience better? And that's a big chunk of what we do today.
So are these ideas in your mind, or is this literally you at a computer, or however you do this, writing programming?
So I'm not a programmer. I always joke, I'm a bar napkin doodler, and then I have people here that can take the bar napkin and do something with it. And so much of my ideas started with just scribbles and ideas, and then you just surround yourself with really capable people, and you share your vision and trust in them to build it the way you want to.
So you're an idea guy.
I'm an idea guy.
And here's the core idea behind Central Payments. It's a connector for engineers and entrepreneurs with new financial technology ideas, and established, more traditional banks needed to make them work.
We're really the linchpin. We connect those two. We try to bring the banking system, connect it with new technologies, and then create really cool user experiences. So you don't see our brand out there because we're so much down in the infrastructure of trying to make money move very efficiently. And so consumers are out there downloading apps that they probably would never know Central Payments is behind that, and really fueling the back-end money movement.
And yet now, here we are less than a decade after you began this, right? And you are, I believe, the nation's fastest growing
We are.
prepaid
Yeah.
card business.
We are.
How did that happen?
A lot of luck. A lot of interesting ideas, a great team. I can't say enough about the team. Fantastic reputations. We've been very fortunate because I've really had my whole career has been in this area, and so so many great people here locally, and so I was able to go out and get people that I just knew had the skills that we wanted, and so you build from a core of people, and then off it goes from there.
Central Payments actually started in Del Rapids, halfway between Sorbe's home in Brookings and Sioux Falls, plus a fit for his small-town roots.
The economic development group was fantastic. They said, look, come here. We want you here. We want to see cars go the other direction every morning. Come into Del Rapids instead of out of Del Rapids. And so, yeah, I think we'll always have a home there. I stay in touch, and I get up there as much as I possibly can. And I think we'll always have a spot there.
He says the tipping point came in the fall of 2019, when Central Payments dropped a piece of technology called OpenCP, which allows anyone to go on a website and begin coding to the company.
We published it and said, look, anybody start coding to us. Here's the technology. And if we like what you're doing, we'll bring you to market. And it was really that OpenCP platform that changed everything for us at that point. The phone started ringing, and the companies were getting bigger, and because we really had something that no one else really had. The technology isn't necessarily that innovative. I think many people would think it is, but for us it maybe isn't. But to do that, also being part of a bank at the same time, that's where it got very differentiating.
Why hadn't anyone done this before?
I don't know. I think banks typically take a conservative view of everything, especially new technology, and so I think it was the fact that if you follow Central Bank at all, it's a wonderful story. It's a small inner city bank. I mean, inner city Kansas City, and the ownership group is very innovative, and they said, look, we want to stay in this community. It's a very economically distressed community. We think it's important. We've been on the same corner since the 1950s, but at the same time, we've got to figure out where technology is going to take the bank. And so, Trent, go build something. Let's see if it has legs.
And it did, so much so that Central Payments recently announced a $30 million capital raise that spins it out from Central Bank of Kansas City.
I thought forever we'd be this little sort of branchless branch for Central Bank of Kansas City. And then the opportunities started getting so big, and we were like, look, we got to do more technology. We got to get bigger. We're moving billions of dollars through a pretty small bank in Kansas City. And we said, look, and I give the ownership group there a ton of credit. Like, this thing is getting big, it's getting fast, and it needs to get handed off to the next group that can continue to grow it. There's only so much capacity a small bank in Kansas City can support. And so ownership and I got together really throughout 2020 and 2021 and said, what does the next phase look like? And I said, there's a lot of options. We could sell Central Payments to some big company and swallow us up and never hear from us. But I said, let's give it another run. Let's go get some capital and grow this thing. And we've got a great investment group. And you think about, like, right now, it's a tough time to raise money. The economy is very difficult to do a capital raise. And so, we're really flattered that we were able to raise that amount of money in a market like this. It really was very reassuring that we're onto something here.
What does that allow you to do?
Great question. Build more and do more new things, and bring in more fantastic people like we have here, and just raise the market awareness of Central Payments and try to capture this market that's moving so quickly. And that's it's all about growth.
How many people are you up to now? Every time I talk to your team, I feel like there are more.
No, we're going to hit. We're probably in the 70-ish range here very soon, but I think that'll double throughout the course of the next 12 months to maybe 18 months. We'll be twice that size.
Do you feel like the operations will continue to be centered in Sioux Falls?
I do. We don't have any reason to go anywhere else. We do have remote staff. We have great remote staff, but we're not entirely remote. We're doorway managers around here, right? You'll see us having lunch or hopping over to have a happy hour or something like that, because that's how we like to work. And so we're gonna do as much as we possibly can locally. And it's a great talent pool. Like, there's no reason to go anywhere else. Because, like I said, this is payments capital, and so we know the best of the best. We've got lots of fantastic companies that we compete with today that are located here in Sioux Falls, and so I don't see any reason to go anywhere else.
Not only that, but Central Payments is bringing other startups to Sioux Falls. Its Falls Fintech Accelerator program launched in 2020.
We're all used to the PayPals and the Venmos of the world. Well, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of companies like that want to be the next PayPal. But to connect them into the banking system, that's just a canyon if you think about it.
Sorbe and Falls Fintech co-founder Nikki Rohde now have worked with dozens of fintech companies as part of a 12-week program that originally was designed to be entirely based in Sioux Falls, but was forced to shift to some virtual time. I
believe today, had the pandemic not happened, 20%, maybe 25% of the companies that have come through Falls Fintech would be located in Sioux Falls today. I know.
That hurts.
We'll get them here. We'll get them here. There's no question. And they come here from all over the world. Russia, Africa, all over the country. And we've had one group was two female founders from Estonia who live in New York. And they came here and they were like, what am I doing here? And they were here, a week. And they're like, this is amazing. We love this town. And so we were worried about it to begin with. And then the founders start talking to other founders like, no, you have to go to Sioux Falls. Why are you not going to Sioux Falls? Cost of living, wonderful people. You're in the banking hub of the country for the most part. And
certainly the payments hub.
Absolutely. Between Sioux Falls and really Atlanta, I mean, those are the two main payments hubs in the country. And I think I'd love to see Sioux Falls do more with that than what they've done. But yeah, no, Falls Fintech has been wonderful. These startup companies are fantastic. We learn so much from them. They come with such energy. And it's been great for us. We're bringing them to market. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Has it led to business?
It has. We're bringing the first group to market. It's a slow process. You're talking about, these startups, there's like two people in a garage in some cases, right? And they got to raise capital. They got to do all these things. But we are launching, I think 1, 2, 3, at least 3 or 4 now we've brought to market now, and they're all very exciting. They're really cool. Bringing one right now that is a virtual gift carding solution that you can actually send gift cards to family over any of your social medias, including Snapchat or TikTok or whatever it is. And so, and that was, the woman is in Russia today building that with us, and it was her idea, and
Wow.
We're happy to support it. We've got 2 guys in Philly that launched a product called Draft Fuel. They do, with legalized sports betting. cash doesn't work in that environment, and so they've had great ideas around that. And it's just technology running on our rails is the easy. Or excuse me, it's just ideas running on our technology is probably the best way to say it.
Within Central Payments, Sorbe says employees find a workplace that is flat, without much hierarchy, where casual dress and occasional joking around are part of the culture.
And I think that attracts people, it attracts talent, and we try to keep it as light. But don't let the laughing and the smiles. This group out here is very serious about what they're doing. They're very, very good.
What do you do when you are not at the helm of this rapidly growing company?
I would like to play more golf than I do. I would like to read more than I do. My family would say I have a lot more things I should be doing with them, and I think we're getting into that. I think we're hitting that phase where, I start to think about, okay, we've raised a bunch of money. I've got a great team. We're going to bring more great team members in, and maybe I can do a little more fishing now.
I definitely get the feeling that though you work a lot, though, you seem like you're having fun.
It's a lot of fun. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have fun. We hire people. We say around here, look, we're not all friends around here, but we're always friendly. And I love working with this group every day. They keep me motivated.
Where do you see this company going? How big could it be? How much of a player could it be in this industry?
That's a great question. We have to start thinking about now, do we start thinking about acquisitions? Do we start acquiring more companies? Do we start building up? Maybe Central Payments becomes a bank one day. These are all things that we're weighing about what the right launch off point is there. Fortunately, we have fantastic investors who are equally excited about growing this thing. So I feel like I can take them any idea and they're going to sit there and we're going to work on it together and figure out if there's something viable to continue the growth. But growth is going to be the word we use around here for the foreseeable future.
We'd like to thank MarketBeat for sponsoring the CEO series. Stay tuned for more conversations with leaders making news throughout the year. And of course, for all your latest business news, head over to www.siouxfalls.business.